If anyone is struggling with anything on this question, you're welcome to unmute and ask, or you can type in the comments. I don't mind, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. We're just going to wait until we have more people joining us at 5, and while we're waiting, you can work on this question. Welcome to those of you who've just joined. Get out your pen and paper and some, some rulers, you just need one ruler, and your calculator. And while we wait for everyone to get here, can you please give this question a try? It's looking at what we did in our last lesson on Monday. So you're going to fill in the table and then you're going to draw this graph. Okay, because it's 5, but I see a couple of people just joined us, so I want to give you all a chance. I'm going to give you 2 more minutes to work on this question, and then we're going to start going through it together. So if you're feeling confident with your answers, you can put answers in the comments if you would like. If you want to give some of the answers to this table, you could give your answers as coordinates if you would like to. And then we're going to start drawing this graph and see what it looks like.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
My name is Offense. I'm sorry, I don't know how to change my name.
That's okay. You like the wandering namer. It's okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Canva. Canva's put in an answer. And I love that answer. I'm just going to give you 1 more minute to work through this. And then we're going to chat through it together. Okay, so let's have a look at how this would start going. I'm going to unvideo myself so that I can move my screen around. And let's see what's happening. Okay, so first of all, if I'm subbing in X as, oh, I am not on pen mode. Let's get ourselves a color happening. Okay, if I'm subbing in X as -2, that means that that is going to go where that X value is over there. So I would have Y is equal to -3 times -2 plus 1. And this -3 times the -2 becomes +6 plus 1, which is where we get our 7 from. So when Canva wrote in the comments -2 and 7, That's why it was a positive 7. Oh, great. I see. So we've got some other answers coming in. Nice. Okay, so let's have a look at what our next one would be. Now we have y, which is -3 times -1 plus 1. And this -3 times -1 becomes +3 plus 1. And we get an answer of 4. So we're going to have -1 and 4. Cool. Yes, Kensani, absolutely. For 0, this is all just going to become 0. So our answer is just going to become 1. So we'll have 0 and 1. Then if it was 1, it would be -3 times 1 plus 1, which is -3 plus 1, which is -2. So we're going to have -2. And if it was a 2, we'd have a -6 plus 1, which is -5. And our last one will be -8. Okay, oh, so let's write those coordinates down. And then I want everyone to get out their pencil and their ruler. If you haven't had a chance, if you joined a little bit later, that's fine. Get your pencil and your ruler. And I want you to draw your Cartesian plane. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I want you to see if you can get an idea of what this graph looks like. You don't have to plot all of the points. You actually only have to plot about 4. And then you'll get an idea of what it looks like. So I'm going to plot this middle one, 0 and 1. Remember how we find our coordinates? Well, we did that last week. And then I'm going to look here. I've got 1 and -2, should be about there. And I'm going to look at this one, and I have -1 and 4 to somewhere up here. And I'm just going to plot those points. Let's get this one a little bit clearer. And my line should look like a nice straight line going down like that. And we have to then give it its name. And so we're going to say y is equal to -3x plus 1. Okay. Can I get an idea in the comments if anyone's graph landed up looking like this? Oh, good, Kampa. I'm glad. Nice. Okay, do I have anyone whose graph really didn't look like this, where it just went crazy? It wouldn't have time for it to get to the crazy levels. Okay. All right. So the important thing that we need to look at here, and this is what we're going to be focusing on today, is remember how on Monday we brought up this idea of, is our graph increasing or decreasing? Now, in this graph, we would say that it is decreasing because we read our graphs from left to right. Okay, and so from left to right, my graph is going down. And what's important for us to notice here is that this value here, which was -3, is a negative. And those things are going to become connected. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So today, we're going to be talking about the gradient of a straight line. So what I've got over here is just like a little explanation of what a gradient is. So for those of you who like to write things down, I understand you're welcome to write. And if I'm going too fast, you just let me know. But basically, when we have a gradient of a line, we've got different options of what could happen. So one way we could have the situation is if our graph is increasing or if it is going up. And that is what we're looking at in this first option here. So our slope is going up. So as we're reading from left to right, our slope is going up, which means it is increasing. Okay, and that would be called a positive gradient. And these are all words that we're going to be using quite often as we work through functions, so they're good ones to know. Then in our second graph, we have a line that is going down if we read it from left to right. And so that is called a line that is decreasing. And we could say it has a negative gradient. And then in our last one that we have over here, we've just got a line that's flat. Oh, goodness. Okay. And now if we're thinking about a gradient, which is the slope of a graph, if we have no slope, if it's like a flat, if you were just walking across a flat floor, there's no slope. It doesn't go up or it doesn't go down. And so this one has no gradient. And we're going to talk about those later. They're like special graphs. And a gradient, this is quite an important sentence, and it's going to make sense when we start playing around with examples. But a gradient of a graph is the rate at which the y value changes with respect to the change in the x value. And we can actually write that in a really fancy way. We can say that it's the change of y over the change of x. That little triangle means change. So it's the change of y over the change of x. Okay, so another way that some of your schools may have taught it to you is that it's our rise over our run. Can I get an idea in the comments who has already done gradients in class? Let me know. Who has done gradients in class? Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. And Daphne and Jaden, those of you who have done them, have you heard of rise over run, or have you been working with change of y over change of x? Which one have you been hearing from your teachers? And oh, sorry, that's a fancy. Sorry. Which ones have you been hearing from your teachers? Or have you only been working with the formula? Let me know. Tell me things in these comments. Or unmute yourself and talk to me. I don't mind. Either one.
Ma'am, we did this thing with the, I think it was like MAB, something like that.
Perfect. That's what we're going to look at next. Great.
Ma'am,
Yes.
we did y equals m plus c.
Yes. Okay. So that's okay. Yes. That's looking
Yeah,
at your
ma'am.
straight line graph. See, are you the same situation?
Yes, ma'am. With the person who's talking right now.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So that's what we're going to move on to next. So these are just things that as I start saying things like this, I want you to just know what I'm talking about. So if we're talking about the change of y over change of x, if I'm talking about rise over run, all of that is talking about your gradient. Okay, so let's have a look now. I think this is now what you were all talking about, the equation of a straight line. And the equation of a straight line is exactly what Ofensi just said. It's y equals mx plus c. So if you have a look at what we just did in this table, do you see how we have a y equals negative 3x plus 1? That was a straight line formula. So if I was to write that over here, we had y equals negative 3x plus 1, which would mean that my m was negative 3 and my c was 1. Okay, but don't panic about that just yet. We'll play with this formula more as we move through graphs. This is the formula or the equation for a straight line graph. C, we're going to get into in our next lesson. That's our y-intercept. So we're not going to worry about that just yet. But the one we're going to focus on today is M. And M is our gradient. It is our slope. Okay, so when M is positive, then our graph is going to go up. It's going to be a positive graph. And when M is negative, then our slope is going to go down, and we're going to have a negative graph. And so M tells us a whole bunch of important things that we need to know as we're drawing it. Now, one of the things that we can work out our M is our rise over our run, which I will show you in our next example, and that's what we wrote just now. So rise over run. But the other way is with an equation, and it's not a hard equation. It's, remember how I said it's the change of Y. So I can say the change of Y would look like that, and the change of X would look like that. Now, if you haven't been doing gradients and straight lines in class, I can imagine that everything you are seeing right now is just like, what the hell is happening on my page? I did not sign up for this, but I promise it's all going to make sense in time. So don't panic. The most important thing I want you to take from this is that our straight line equation is y equals mx plus c, and our gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And what I would like is for everyone to write out this equation that I've put in a cloud on their book or on their piece of paper so that you've got it as we start working through these questions. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay, so everyone get out a piece of paper. Make sure you've written down that formula. And as soon as, I'm just going to give you a minute to do that, and then we're going to move down. Okay. So let's get practicing. So for all of these, and I just want you to always keep this in the back of your mind. For all of these, we are working out M. We want to know what that value is, okay? The Y and the X are our normal coordinates. It's like a normal Y and X, but M is our gradient, and that's what we're focusing on in this lesson. So before anything, before we start working out, I want you to tell me, is my gradient going to be positive or is it going to be negative when you look at this line? Let me know.
It's going to be negative.
Okay. Okay, so we have some positives and some negatives. It is definitely going to be positive because as I'm reading my graph from left to right, my graph is going up. I'm going uphill. And because I'm going up, it's going to be a positive gradient. Okay. Now, at the moment, that's not necessarily something you have to know, but it does help us because if our answer is not positive, we know we've made a mistake. All right. The next thing I'd like you to do is I actually would like you to draw this line in your book. It doesn't need to be perfect at all, but it's important that you have the coordinates of A and B written next to it. So I'm just going to give you a minute to do that. The reason I want you to draw it in your book is because we're going to write on it. So I kind of want everyone to have this in front of them. Okay, I'm going to show you two ways that we can figure out this gradient, and they're actually the same way as each other. They're just looking at it in two different ways. But because some of you haven't done this in class yet, some of your teachers will show you this method, and so I don't want you to not know it if you're seeing it in class later on. The first way we look at is we draw ourselves a little triangle. So this is straight across, and that goes straight up. And when we were talking about our gradient, we were talking about how it's our rise over our run. And so I want to know what this, which is our rise, is. I know that this y coordinate is 5 and this y coordinate is 3. So how much have I gone up? What is my rise? How much have I gone up if I've gone from 3 to 5?
2.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So my rise would be 2. Okay. And then if I want to look at my run, that's my running across. Okay. And this x value is 1 and this x value is 2. So what is my run? How much have I gone across?
One.
Yes. Nice job, guys. Okay. So my rise is 2, my run is 1, which means my gradient is 2 over 1, and we're allowed to write it as that, or we could write it as 2. We could write it as either. Okay, so that's the first way, is if we're looking at a rise over run situation, we would draw ourselves a triangle, we'd see how much have we gone up and then how much have we gone sideways. Now, the way which you're going to use mostly in high school is just with the formula. And some people make mistakes with the formula. And so we're going to go through a couple of steps to make sure you don't make those mistakes. The first thing I want you to do is I actually want you to label the coordinates. So I'm going to keep my little triangle. I'm getting rid of my triangle. Okay, so I want you to make this x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. And it doesn't matter. They could be the other way around. It really doesn't matter at all. But I want you to label them. And they need to be a pair. So my x1 needs to be with my y1 and my x2 needs to be with my y2. Okay. And then once we've labeled it, we literally put it straight into our formula. So, oh, sorry. Okay. So m is y2, which is 3, minus y1, which is 5, over x2, which is 1, minus x2, which is 2. And 3 minus 5 is negative 2. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. A negative and a negative becomes a positive. And so my gradient would be 2. And so we get the same gradient, whichever way we work it out. Now, this way is the way that we're going to use mostly in high school. So it's the way that you really need to start embracing. Does anyone need me to sit on this page a little bit longer? Just you can use the emoji hand up if you would like to, if you need to sit here before I move on. Okay. No problem. Okay. That's okay. I'll help you go. We're going to do so many of these this evening. They're going to be coming out of your eyeballs. So I'm going to help you with the second example as well. We're just going to keep going through them step by step. And hopefully by example 3, you're feeling a little bit more confident. Okay. This is grade 9. Are you in the wrong grade? Okay, good. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to move down. Let's have a look at number 2. So I'm going to help you with this one again. And then for the next one, I'm going to let you do it by yourselves. Okay. First thing we want to do is we want to label our coordinates. So I'm going to make this x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. First step. So first step, label coordinates. Okay. Second step, put it into our formula. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 2, formula. Okay, step 3, we're going to sub in our values. So 3, sub in. So y2 is negative 5 minus y1, which is 1, over x2, which is 2, minus x1, which is 1. And negative 5 minus 1 gives me negative 6. 2 minus 1 gives me 1. And so my gradient is either negative 6 over 1 or negative 6. Now, I don't know that I'm 100% right, but I know that I'm potentially right because my gradient is negative and my slope is negative. So I know I'm on the right track. Okay. I know that this seems a little bit tricky, but I promise you with practice, they're going to seem so much easier and you're going to feel nice and calm. Just remember the steps. Label your coordinates, write down your formula, sub your values into your formula, and then solve for m. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 more minute on this page, and then I'm going to give you a question to try by yourselves. Okay. Let's go. Let's see how you manage this one alone. Think about, first of all, am I going to have a positive answer? Am I going to have a negative answer? Label your coordinates, put it into your formula, solve for m. And once you have m, let me know. I know. Just takes practice. It will get easier. Use your calculator when you need it. Sure. I'm going to have to just minimize it a little bit so that people can see both. There you go. So label your coordinates.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, something just came up, ma'am. Can I leave the class?
Yes, sure. If you have to see her, you must absolutely.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thanks for letting me know.
Okay, bye, ma'am.
Bye, Sam. Okay, and if you have an answer, I'd love to hear from you or put it in the comments for me, but I want to see what some of our answers are. Ooh, we have an answer of 3. Did anyone else get 3? Are we still working on it? 2. Okay, we're getting an overwhelming number of 3s. And I like it. Okay. Let's label. So I'm gonna do every step with you here. So for those of you who are still confused, we can go through together. X1, Y1, X2, Y2, and it doesn't matter if those were swapped around. I wouldn't mind. Okay. M is equal to Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Y2 is 1 minus Y1, which is 7. X2 is 2 minus Y1, which is, X1, which is 4. 1 minus 7 is negative 6. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is positive 3. And so for those of you who got 3, a very well done. Excellent. Great. Okay, good. And remember, just always keep this in mind, that when we are doing this, we are trying to find, yeah, don't worry, lots of people do it in reverse. That's why it just takes practice. Always y's over x's. When we're doing this, just remember, you're finding that m value, okay? So if I was to re-put this into my formula at the moment, I would have y equals 3x plus c. And we'll look for c, we'll find c in our next lesson. But at the moment, we're just focusing on that little letter over there. Excellent. Let's see if we can get 100 out of 100 here. This one is a little bit trickier. I'm just going to put that out there. Don't fall for my trap. You know how I love traps. Oh, okay. It's not the answer I got. Oh, that's more some Daphne and I are more on the same page as each other. Oh. We're getting wildly different answers for this question, which was expected because I did tell you I was trying to trick you. I did try and warn you. Okay, so let's label them. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. M is equal to -3 minus 3 over, this is where we have to be careful, 2 minus, but we can't just say 1 because there's a negative just chilling there. So we have to say minus bracket -1. That was the sneak attack, which would be -6 over 2 plus 1, which would be -6 over 3, which would be -2. So some of you definitely got there, which is great. I think really what happened was this bracket. I think people just forgot about the bracket. Am I right? Is it the bracket situation? Or where did we go wrong? Can you try and identify what went wrong? Excellent. Let's try another one. I want to see if we can try and get to some nasty questions by the end of this evening. But let's see. Let's see. I'm still being nice to you. Enjoy the niceness while it lasts. Okay. Give this question a try for me. I want the gradient of this line. Okay, I've put on some things on the screen to help you if you're struggling a bit. This one should feel a little bit easier than the last one. So hopefully we get some nice answers coming out here. Oh, we're getting some answers coming in. Okay, so Timwani, I don't want you to think about your answer here. You've got a negative answer that's coming up. But is this, if you were on a bicycle and you had to like ride on this graph, are you going to be going up a hill or are you going to be going down a hill? If you were on like a bicycle over here. Oh, that doesn't really look like a bicycle, does it? Okay, that's my attempt at a bicycle, guys. You would be going up a hill. And so if you're going up a hill, then your answer needs to be positive. So those of you who are getting 2, that is excellent. Well done. We've got 1 minus 9 over negative 2 minus 2, which gives us negative 8 over negative 4, and a negative makes a positive. Exactly. So it would be 2. Well done. Good. Nice. Good job. Okay, so always remember to check your answer. So if you're in that same situation and you got a negative answer, but you're thinking, okay, I'm on my bicycle and I'm going to be riding up, I'm not going to be riding down, my answer should be positive, then recheck your working. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to give you one nice, easy one still, and then I'm going to give you a nasty question. I'm going to see if someone can solve it.
Ma'am,
Yes.
may you please go back to the previous question?
Sure. Let's see if I can get both on one screen. There we go.
Thank you.
Sure, no problem. It is not 0 because that would mean that I haven't got a slope at all. That means it would be a flat distance.
Ma'am,
Okay. Yes.
now which one is A and which one is B?
Oh goodness, my whole screen went away. It doesn't matter, you can choose. So it will
Oh,
work
okay.
both ways. So like if you wanted to make that x1 and y1 and x2, y2, you could, or you could flip them around. Doesn't matter. Okay, and the answers are coming in. Let's have a look. M would be equal to 7 minus 1 over 5 minus 2, which is 6 over 3, which is 2. Good. Okay, I feel like we're starting to get these right, which is like a good sign. And so I'm going to use this opportunity to give you a nasty question in the middle before we try something else. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. So if you saw it, you know what your end answer is meant to be, which is fine, but I'm going to call it Y. I'm going to tell you, so I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to tell you that your gradient here is -2. I want you to find Y. Let's see if anyone can figure it out. The rule. Okay, so we're going to use the same rule that we've been using this whole time, which is M, which is equal to Y2 minus Y1. Sorry, guys, over X2 minus X1. We're still going to use that rule. But now I want you to think about what information you have and what information you don't have, and what you can do to find the information you want. We got some answers coming in. Nice. Okay. So let's assess how we would do a question like this. This wouldn't be like your run-of-the-mill question. This would be a slightly harder question. So let's see what we have. We know that M is -2. So I would start by saying I know that that's -2. Now I'm going to say that this is x1, y1, and x2, y2. It doesn't matter how I write that, okay? Now I know that my y2 is -2, and I don't know what my y1 is because it's y. My x2 is 3, and my x1 is -1. Don't forget that bracket. Okay, so now we have an equation works. We have -2 is equal to -2 minus y over 3 plus 1, and so that becomes 4. Now I'm trying to find that y value over there. So I'm going to move this 4 up, and I'm going to say that that's -2 times 4, which gives me -8. And then I'm going to move my y over and my 8 over. So y is equal to -2 plus 8, which means y is equal to 6. And so this is using the exact same gradient formula that we've been using this whole lesson. It's just looking at it in a slightly different way. So we're kind of working backwards to find another answer. Okay. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to give you a different kind of question again. And then I'm going to give you some negative numbers. This one. Okay. Ooh. Has the screen gone black for you guys as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
How unfortunate. Okay, I'm just going to stop sharing it and reshare again, okay? Let's try again. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to read it. I want you to give me my answer. Oh, Anissa, the other question's quite far up. I will go back to it before our next question, but I can't scroll up to it just yet. But I promise I'll go up to it after we've done this one, okay? Oh, we have our first answer of 2. Let's see if other people get the same answer. Okay, let's have a look. 0, 2. Okay, let's have a look. I could choose how I want to write this, but the most important thing is that I've got 2 sets of coordinates. I've got -3 and 5, and I've got 4 and 19. So I'm going to choose to make the left one, but honestly, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say that this is x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. So my gradient is then going to be 19 minus 5 over 4 minus -3. And 19 minus 5 gives me 14 over 4 plus 3, which is 14 over 7, which is 2. So well done. Nice job, guys. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to just scroll up to a previous question. But I might be able to sneak in a question underneath it so that you can do 2 things at the same. Oh, sorry. Let me stop here. Did anyone need me to stay here? Yeah.
Ma'am, I think I did something wrong.
Oh, no. Okay. Do you know where you went wrong?
Yes, ma'am. I said m is equals to 19 minus 5 over -3 minus 4.
Okay.
That's
So
how I got -2.
So what you did is a very normal mistake, and that's why we take this time of labeling what's x1 and y1, because if we don't, it's very easy to switch one of them around. And then that mistake is very common. So don't feel bad. Would anyone like
Oh,
me
yes,
to
ma'am.
sit on this? Yeah. Does anyone want me to sit on this question for any longer? Okay. So I'm going to, yes, okay. Cool. Okay. I'm going to go up to our previous question. Look at all these glorious ones in the middle. Okay. So, okay, I won't be able to be on this question and another one, so I'm just going to draw one for you. Let's have a look. Sorry, my lines are not beautiful. They're not works of art. I apologize. Okay. So if you needed to see the previous question, it is on the screen, and I'd like you to work out that gradient. And I'm going to be a bit nasty. So I'm going to give you two questions. So the first line is the black line, and the second line is this blue line. Oh, you're not going to be happy with me. Second line is that purple line. I'd like the gradients of those two lines, please. As a warning, you shouldn't get a nice answer for either of them. That's bad of me to say, because that's saying the fractions aren't nice answers. You should get a fraction for one answer, and for the other answer, you should get something strange. Let me put it that way. Yes, that's -5 and -2. Oh, it does look like a J. See what you're saying? It's just a semicolon, -5 and -2. Oh, first answer from Gerald. We've got a 9/7. Gerald, have you figured out an answer to my purple line?
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay. Yay, some POA. Excellent. That makes me so happy. Jaden, I like that answer.
Yay.
Yay. Okay. Guys, so much good news for one little question. Okay, let's start with the black line that we have over there. Gerald's answer was absolutely right. So I'm just going to label these quickly. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So for my black line, I would have 7 minus -2 over 2 minus -5, which gives me 7 plus 2 over 2 plus 5, which is 9/7. Okay, so my black line's gradient would be 9/7. My purple line, ooh, no, x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, m would be -2 minus 6/6 minus 6, which is -8/0, and anything that, oh, don't worry, it's okay, it's because my writing is so bad. Anything that is over 0 is, as Jaden said, undefined. And so its gradient would be undefined. You can't have a gradient for it. Nice. Yes, guys. Excellent. Okay, I think we have time for one more, and I think let's just stay on this good track and let's just do one more question. Let's find a gross one. There we go. Let's do this one. Okay, so let's end with J. Let's try and all do our best to get J right. I'm so proud of how much you guys have progressed in this lesson today. I'm really, really stoked. Well done. Let's give J a try. Jaden, just be careful with brackets. I think that's what happened. Look at these answers coming in. Okay, so y2 is 6 minus y1, which is 10, over x2, which is -2, minus bracket -4. 6 minus 10 is -4 over -2 plus 4, which is -4/2, which is -2. Hooray! That's a party hat because we are in party town. Awesome. Nice job, guys. Really, really proud of you tonight. I'm going to be passing on to Tula, but well done, and I will see you guys again next week, Monday.
Hello, grade 9s. I'm just going to quickly dive in. I'm going to quickly dive into I think Imange, do you have a question? I see your hand is up. Do you have a question, or was that hand just up? Okay, I'm going to ask you, Mr. Latta.
It was just up when she was waiting
just
for
wanna
her
quickly-
question.
Okay, cool. 1 second. Okay. Just want to run through these really quick. Okay, so we are still doing graphs, and we just finished our second lesson. Should have updated this. We just finished our this lesson, and then we're going to the third one, which is the intercepts of a function with the axes next week. That's next week, Monday, on the 23rd. So you guys make sure that you come and attend that one. And then we, of course, still have a number of lessons we have on the graphs. And again, this is still not, we don't just have graphs that are happening. After this series of graphs, we're going to have another series of a different topic, just like we just finished the equations now. And then, yeah, if you want to go on the app, if you want to go and check out on the app, you want to check out the activities and the exercises and the lessons and the quizzes, go to graphs, go to pick a topic, and then go to graphs, and then just do the exercises that are there. I want to quickly, I'm not sure why this slide skipped. Let me just do this. Just to quickly go through the leaderboard for the week. These are our superstars for this week. Sipesihle, Tinashe, Neo, and Jaden. It would be cool if you guys would switch on your videos so I see your faces when I say these names. But congratulations, guys. This is really cool. Hi, Neo. Congratulations, guys. This is really cool. Remember that this is just for trying. This just symbolizes you going to the app and trying out the exercises outside of these live lessons, because you have to keep working even when you're not on these lessons, just to solidify your learning. So I'm gonna stop it there for today. Congratulations to these guys again, and I'll see you guys on Monday. If Miss G doesn't have anything else to add, I think we can goodbye.
Bye, guys. Have a good evening.